60% chance of what? Losing your job. If you're sat there and you think, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't apply to me. It's you that they're talking about. The question that I'm sure you're asking by this point is, well, what can I do about it, Paul? What am I talking about? Artificial intelligence. Look at this report from the IMF. The red area, you're going to lose your job. The pink area, you're probably going to lose your job, which just means it's a question of time. So how long and what are you going to do about it, and what am I talking about? Well, let's start with a fairly innocuous set of headphones. These. I'm sure you recognize them. Apple AirPods. What's that got to do with artificial intelligence? Did you know you can get a version of these that translate real time into 40 different languages? What's that going to do to the requirements to pay for translators? Let's have a look at graphics and animation. What percentage of graphic designers have lost their jobs? How about solicitors? How about accountants? They're all in very, very dire straits. Now look at the developed economies, which is the second bar on this bar chart, versus the far right-hand side, the low income, the more basic economies. And look at the fact that in the more basic, the less advanced economies, there's far less job losses. Why? Because this isn't about automating manual jobs. This is about automating mind jobs. This is about automating brain power jobs. So if you're sat there and you think, oh, well, you know, it doesn't apply to me. I did a degree at Oxford. You know, I'm very well educated and I'm a barrister or, you know, an engineer or whatever it is. So that's all fascinating for all those other people that are not as clever as me. It's you that they're talking about. Did you know that AI has successfully passed the United States bar exam? There's now a presenter that I follow quite closely in the United States, and he does webinars and podcasts and that sort of thing, and he has no slides. What he does is he talks, and the AI produces his slides and his graphics real time as he's talking. He'll reference a particular article, AI will go and get it, put it onto a PowerPoint slide and display it like that. So all of this creative, all of this mind-powered, highly educated, highly remunerated layer of salaries and jobs is set to disappear. You've heard about artificial intelligence, and I'm absolutely certain that you should be aware of things like NVIDIA. What's NVIDIA? It's one of the magnificent seven. It's one of the biggest 7 companies in the United States stock market, and its shares have rocketed. Why? Because it's producing the chips, the hardware that power all of this artificial intelligence. The question that I'm sure you're asking by this point is, well, what can I do about it, Paul? I think you've got 3, possibly 4 options. The first option is essentially to play Russian roulette. And you could turn on what I've said on its head and you could say, but there's a 60% chance I'm going to lose my job, which means there's a 40% chance that I'm not. The second thing you could do is you could try and double guess, re-educate yourself, learn new skills as to the specific occupations and high income roles that are not going to get taken out by AI. Well, good luck with that, because I don't know what they are. The third thing you could do is give up, retire, blame everybody else. Not a great strategy for achieving your ideal lifestyle. And the fourth thing that you could do is invest in assets that require no labor. Here is the core of the current economic model. You go to school, possibly university, you get an education. And you use that to try and get a really high paid job to fund your lifestyle. So essentially, whatever educational level you're at, here's the model, you sell your life for money. I've never been a great big fan of that, but that's what the core of it depends on. Now, the more highly skilled, the more highly qualified, the more in demand your services are, the higher amount per hour, per day, per month that you can sell your services for. An asset doesn't require you to exchange your time for money. My name's Paul Smith, by the way. I haven't introduced myself. I've been a property investor for 42 years. And I'm not claiming that 42 years ago I foresaw the advent of artificial intelligence. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, I'm an engineer. My first degree is engineering. My second, I've got an MBA, Masters in Business Administration. I run bigger and bigger and bigger companies. But always on the side, since the age of 17, I've been doing property. And I made a lot more money from my property-related and investment activities than I did from working. And when I got made redundant for the third time at the age of 40, I just thought, well, do you know what? I'm not going back into the world of work. I'm just going to carry on building my portfolio. 10 years ago now, I started Touchstone Education, and since then, we've trained hundreds of thousands of people how to take maybe the equity in their house or their savings or their pension and turn that into investment property that generates an income, residential property, commercial property. You need to do something to create a second, third, fourth stream of income. And for me, the most obvious one that is not tech dependent is housing. It's a basic human need. Think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What is it that every human being needs? Well, they need warmth, they need food, and they need security. They need a home. They need somewhere to bring up their family. They need somewhere to call their home. So I don't see any possibility that a home is going to get made redundant anytime soon. I do see a whole world of pain and tears for people that pin all their hopes on technology. Because let's say, for example, you thought that Tesla was the place to put all your money. Well, Tesla shares, as I stand here recording this, are down by 40% this year. I think we all need to build a very solid foundation of assets that are not going to get made redundant. And the best place to start that journey is in property. There are hundreds and hundreds of other recordings, of other videos that myself and Abby have done. What I would invite you to do is very, very simple. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, tell all the people that you care about that we exist, and invite them to come over and learn about the fundamentals of investing in property. Because it is no way, shape or form as hard as you think. The money that you require, yes, of course you require money, but it doesn't have to be yours. 3/4 of it comes from banks. You can use your own pension. You get massive tax breaks. Did you know, for example, if you invest in certain types of property, you can all earn, if you live in the UK, up to £1 million a year per person, tax-free. And you probably think, oh no, sounds good to be true. I'm not doing it now. Google annual investment allowance. It's an HMRC scheme designed to help people that invest in assets. So what we're talking about isn't pie in the sky. It is very much feet on the ground. And it is all about giving you the best possible chance of avoiding financial destitution and disaster when it comes to artificial intelligence and the 60% chance that I've talked about that you're going to be redundant. And I reiterate again, the more using your brain, the more using some sort of advanced educational knowledge, the more likely it is that you're going to be made redundant. I want you to have freedom of choice. I want you to have freedom of determination of what you do with your life. And I want you to be able to live your life in accordance with your highest values, whatever they are. Subscribe, notification bell. Hope you found this video interesting. You've been fantastic. You've been wonderful. You've been marvelous. Stay that way. I've been Paul. See you next time.